Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7 p.m. on LA56.
Here we go again, live Mega Doppler 7000 HD tracking another wet and cold storm moving into Southern California. What it means for your morning commute.
Fire investigators want to talk to two men who were caught on video walking near the scene of last week's massive fire in downtown LA.
Bloodshed in downtown Sydney, Australia. 2 hostages and a gunman are dead following a dramatic 16-hour standoff. Good evening, I'm Colleen Sullivan.
I'm David Ono. Welcome to Eyewitness News at LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. And first tonight, Southern Californians bracing for another round of potential rain. Our live storm track team coverage includes Melissa McBride, live in Camarillo Springs, which was hit hard by last week's storm. We begin with meteorologist Jonathan Novak, live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. Jonathan.
David, folks, here we go. Another storm system, one of several this week. We're going to be looking at already bringing showers and some heavy rain to portions of Southern California. We'll zoom on in on that live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. This area of heavy rainfall actually has a history of potential to produce water spouts. Actually, a marine warning was put out a little while ago by the National Weather Service. It's not there now, but that is the kind of situation we're dealing with here with some of the heavier activity, at least offshore. Now, I don't know if this particular area is going to hold together as it heads toward land, but nevertheless, over the next few hours, we'll see some of that moderate rainfall, at least already starting to move into Ventura, into Oxnard, move eastward into Thousand Oaks. So what can we expect with this first system? I'd say maybe a quarter to a half an inch of rain through tonight, in through Tuesday. This is the rainfall totals for the system number 1, Tuesday at 6 p.m. with a couple of inches of snow possible through the mountains. But this is just one of not 2, but 3 storm systems we have in the forecast. I'll detail them all for you coming up in that 7-day in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you then, Jonathan. Thank you. Several communities are still trying to clean up after the last storm sent mud and debris slides into homes. Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride is live in Camarillo Springs, where some homeowners are still having mounds of rock piled up to their rooftops. Melissa.
And Colleen, for some of these homeowners, there's really nothing they can do, and people say that there is a feeling of helplessness. You look at this house behind me here where all these rocks still are. That is a very big job that will be taken care of at a later date. Meantime, other residents have been digging through the mud inside the homes, trying to find some of their personal belongings.
That's our backyard, or my parents' backyard, and so all the rocks came right through the sliding door there.
Steve Shiraishi's parents' house is one of the red-tagged homes filled with rocks and mud. Friday's rain undermined the hillside behind their house that was burned during the fire. Residents in the retirement community of Camarillo Springs are trying to salvage what they can from their damaged homes. One neighbor hired movers to pack up her furniture and her belongings in anticipation of more mud and rock slides. She's moving out for a few months until the threat subsides. Owners of the red-tagged homes are removing what they can, digging out from the mud before the next round of rain hits.
The condition of anything wet, if we don't get it out, it's going to get worse. So we're going to try to preserve some of the photographs if we can. But we're just trying to get jewelry out and things that are important to them.
One of my daughters is an engineer, and she came over here with me on Friday and saw what happened, and she said, "Mom, you have to get out of here. It's not safe." And I agree with her.
Now, there are a number of residents who are staying here whose homes were not damaged, but we do have those red-tagged homes, and so the Homeowners Association here has hired private security to patrol the neighborhood because there was a report of looting over the weekend. People are not being told to evacuate in advance of the forecasted rain, but many people who do live very close to the compromised hillside say that they are ready to leave if they're told to do so. Reporting live in Camarillo Springs, I'm Melissa McBride, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Melissa, thank you. And whether it's high surf, falling snow, or heavy rain, get the weather information you need with your mobile device by downloading the free ABC7 Mega Doppler weather app. It is available from the App Store and Google Play. Just search one word, Mega Doppler.
Other news now, 2 men may be possible witnesses to a destructive fire last Monday in downtown LA. Investigators just released video of them in hopes of tracking them down. An Eyewitness News reporter, Miriam Hernandez, has the video and what investigators hope to learn.
If a person intentionally set what became a monstrous downtown fire, investigators believe these 2 individuals could help lead them to a suspect. One witness is seen on surveillance video strolling casually before the fire erupted at 1 in the morning. He's wearing an athletic jersey, number 21, a cap turned backward, and he's carrying a backpack. The second witness was recorded by a freelance videographer. His proximity to the fire and his behavior stand out. He touches the scorching construction fence and tries to get closer to the flaming scene, then actually tries to climb the fence. Two fire captains wrestled him away, but their attention was diverted to the bursting flames.
Our captains who are on scene in this video were actively engaged in fighting this fire, so they did not have the opportunity to have any type of conversation with this individual or to question him about anything.
The investigation continues 24/7 with the help of 20 arson experts flown in by ATF. Investigators say while it is possible that an arsonist would stay close to the scene to observe his work, officials don't have any evidence yet that the fire was intentionally set.
They are gathering evidence, they are gathering burn patterns, they're reading those burn patterns in order to be able to determine the origin of this fire and then what may have caused it.
If you have any information about any of these men, you're asked to call investigators at 213-893-9850. And if you want another look at them, log on to ABC7.com and you'll see those images posted. Reporting from downtown Los Angeles, Miriam Hernandez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A 16-hour hostage crisis comes to a deadly and dramatic end in Sydney, Australia. Tonight, police are revealing more details about the gunman and how the tragic standoff unfolded. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter has new details.
A hail of gunfire and flashbangs as the dramatic, more than 16-hour standoff in Sydney comes to a deadly end. 3 people killed, including the lone gunman, 4 others injured.
In the past 24 hours, this city has been shaken by a tragedy that none of us could have ever imagined.
The incident began about 9:30 local time Monday morning in the heart of downtown Sydney. The suspect, identified as 50-year-old Man Monis, taking over this cafe, holding 17 people hostage. Authorities say Monis is a self-proclaimed Islamic sheikh, an alleged sexual predator who was well known to them. He made headlines last year when he pleaded guilty to sending angry, hateful letters to the families of fallen Australia service members.
Australians should be reassured by the way our law enforcement and security agencies responded to this brush with terrorism.
During the standoff, 2 hostages were seen through the window holding up a black flag showing a Muslim profession of faith. Some hostages were able to escape, their fear written across their faces. But just after 2 a.m. local time, police moved in.
There was a number of gunshots that were heard, which caused officers to move straight to what we call an EA, an emergency action plan, and that caused them to enter.
Incidents like this in Sydney raise obvious concerns about something similar happening here in the U.S. LAPD Chief Charlie Beck says it shows it could happen in an instant.
1 man, 1 gun, and a coffee shop. And the whole world is riveted for 16 hours, and there's a horrible result.
Australian officials won't say if the 2 hostages who were killed, a 34-year-old man and a 38-year-old woman, were shot by their captor or caught in the crossfire. But authorities do say that it was an isolated incident, the act of 1 individual. In the newsroom, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Former L.A. County Sheriff's Deputy James Sexton was sentenced today to 18 months in federal prison for his role in the scheme to hide a federal informant from the FBI. Sexton's attorney asked for a lighter sentence, pointing out that Sexton cooperated with investigators, risking his own safety by providing information on his co-conspirators. The judge told Sexton that he lacked the courage to stand up when he knew things were wrong. Prosecutors say their investigation is ongoing.
We have not finished our Men's Central Jail investigation. We have many trials that are upcoming of the civil rights abuses themselves. This is the end of a chapter in that these are the 7 obstruction of justice defendants that we charged in November of last year. And so it is a closing of 1 chapter, but we have many chapters to come.
Sexton will surrender to police February 16th.
Questions are being raised about the DNA evidence gathered in the so-called Grim Sleeper serial killings case. Attorneys for Lonnie Franklin Jr. say the DNA evidence at 3 of the 10 crime scenes belongs to another man. A motion was filed last week detailing the new DNA profile. However, the deputy district attorney says the expert the defense used may be misinterpreting the evidence. Prosecutors allege Franklin shot or strangled 10 women and tried to kill another between 1985 and 2007. He's pleaded not guilty. An arraignment today for a Montebello man suspected of kidnapping his 4 kids and killing his wife. Daniel Perez entered a plea of not guilty to charges of murdering his wife and kidnapping 4 of his children. Pettis was arrested last week atop a freeway overpass near San Diego. The dramatic takedown capped off a week-long search for Pettis and his 4 young boys. The search intensified after the body of Erica Pettis was found in the trunk of her car. Prosecutors say she was killed on or about December 5th, although her cause of death has not yet been released. Pettis' attorney says his client was only trying to defend herself after his wife attacked him with a knife. His bail has been set at $1.4 million.
Sony is trying to fight back against hackers. This is even more embarrassing information is threatened to be released on Christmas Day. Sony has turned to one of the top attorneys in the country, David Boies. Boies is sending a letter to news organizations, including ABC, asking to delete and avoid publishing what is called stolen information. Today, Sony's CEO held a private town hall meeting with Sony employees in Culver City.
Beyond the top level, there are thousands of employees who are just regular working people who now have their social security numbers and health records permanently and publicly exposed.
The hackers are also releasing private emails where studio executives say some not-so-flattering things about Hollywood stars.
Hollywood hustle and bustle at local post offices today. It's the busiest mailing day of the year. And today alone, some 6 million customers nationwide were expected to descend on a post office. They were expected to post 640 million cards, letters, and packages, a 22% increase over the average daily volume of mail. All that work hasn't soured one postal worker's Christmas spirit.
When you're packing fragile items, consider using shredded newspaper or air pop popcorn. Just hold the salt and the butter. But if you want to join some dried cranberries, they can make some holiday decorations as well when the person receives it.
Between Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve, the Postal Service expects to deliver 15.5 billion cards, letters, and packages.
Well, we want to say thank you one more time to all of you who have helped us stuff buses today for the Spark of Love toy drive.
Since 4:30 this morning, you've been stopping by Westfield, Topanga, and Canoga Park to help our big elf, Garth Kemp. And you guys set a new record. Again, 10.5 buses stuffed.
Again, thank you so much. And remember, Garth will be back at it this Friday at the Honda Center in Anaheim.
Broken the record every stop this year.
Get over it. Wow.
Anaheim's next. Will your morning commute be a washout?
A new storm is nearly here. Jonathan Novak's complete forecast when we come back.
Also tonight, 6 people dead in a shooting rampage where an all-out manhunt for the shooter is underway right now. Plus this.
I'm just so thankful that this nightmare is over.
Charges dropped against a local teacher accused of having sex with 2 minors. We'll tell you why when Eyewitness News returns. The search is on for a man accused in a series of shootings that left 6 people dead and 1 wounded near Philadelphia. Investigators say Bradley Stone shot and killed his ex-wife, her 14-year-old niece, and other members of her family across 3 different locations. Stone was last seen early this morning when he dropped off his 2 daughters at a neighbor's house. Police have found his car and cell phone, but say they have no idea where Stone is located. They say Stone had recently been in court fighting with his ex-wife over custody of their 2 children.
The families of the victims killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting are suing the maker of the gun used in the massacre. The negligence and wrongful death lawsuit filed today asserts that the Bushmaster rifle used by shooter Adam Lanza should not have been sold publicly because it was designed for military use. 2 years ago, Lanza opened fire in the elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut, killing 20 children and 6 adults.
Here at home, the nightmare is over for a teacher charged with having sex with minors. The San Bernardino District Attorney has dropped all charges against Amy Bramlett. Eyewitness News Inland Empire reporter Leticia Warris finds out what Bramlett is hoping will happen now.
For 3 months, Amy Bramlett has lived under a cloud of suspicion, accused of sexually abusing 2 minors, one a former student.
Your Honor, based on insufficiency of the evidence, people move to dismiss without prejudice.
Today, the San Bernardino County DA's office dropped all charges after both alleged victims recanted their statements.
I'm just relieved right now, and I'm just so thankful that this nightmare is over.
Outside the courthouse, supporters gathered to hug Bramlett. The 46-year-old was a program specialist at Indian Springs High School when she was arrested in September and held on $1 million bail. An arrest her attorney says should never have happened.
No doubt in my mind, being involved in the justice system for 35 years, that there were mistakes made by the Sheriff's Department.
He says the first alleged victim lied to authorities to cover up his role in burglarizing Bramlett's home. The second alleged victim, he says, was pressured by San Bernardino County Sheriff's investigators.
That person denied any allegations of wrongdoing between him and Miss Bramlett 19 times. 19 separate times.
He says his client may take civil action against the Sheriff's Department in the future. And despite all that has happened, Bramlett doesn't hold a grudge against her 2 accusers.
Sure, I wish things would have been differently, but hopefully this is a learning opportunity for them.
Bramlett, who's been on unpaid administrative leave, is hoping to return to her 20-year career in education. Reporting in San Bernardino, Leticia Warris, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And we now know the name of the suspect accused of stealing UPS packages last month in Highland. The thefts were caught on home surveillance cameras. This is a prior booking photo of Marcellus Carter. Police say he stole packages from the porch of some homes on Foxtail Way. They say Carter would follow the UPS driver in his maroon Nissan and then take the packages after the driver left. Detectives were able to positively identify Carter as the suspect from the video. A search warrant was issued at his San Bernardino home, but he was not there. Investigators believe he's hiding out in the area.
All eyes are looking at you, Jonathan. You're talking about 3 stones?
3.
Really?
None of them are as strong as the one last week. Put them together, we get maybe another inch plus rain out of this week.
Great.
This is what we need. We need rain without all the problems. That doesn't mean we're going to get out of this week without potentially some flooding, but right now the rain doesn't look anything close to Friday when we had just 1 to 2 inches per hour coming down. Right now, the LIMEG Doppler 7000 HD radar showing some heavy activity offshore, but all the models, the short-term, the high-resolution models showing most of the activity that's offshore won't hold together. In fact, you can see some of the activity just a little earlier headed towards Santa Barbara and then fizzled out. Well, we have a pocket of heavy rain that's heading toward, well, what would be Oxnard and Malibu. I don't think that's going to have as much punch as it heads to the east. So we'll say light to moderate rain with this particular first event tonight and through tomorrow, potentially maybe a quarter to a half of an inch as it rolls through. So that's nothing like we saw Friday. That doesn't mean you won't have a slick commute, and we might have the potential later on in the next system to see some flooding around the burn areas, but at least for this first one, I think we can say some light to moderate rain. This flash flood watch, in fact, for the southern areas around the Santa Ana Mountains and heading into the mountains of Riverside County doesn't even go into effect until Tuesday at noon. That's for system number 2. So this first round will get some rain. It'll be a little bit wet, maybe a little bit windy at times, but not too bad. Winter weather advisory, we will see, it looks like, potentially 6 inches of snow around 7,000 feet. Great news for the mountains. That winter weather advisory starts at midnight tonight through tomorrow at 6 p.m., and that's probably going to be extended. So this is the first of a few systems. We've been saying that. This is a cold front that's going to move through, and it looks like this is the timing of it all, that generally speaking, you'll have a bit of a wet commute and some light rainfall in the morning. But watch the future rainfall forecast. I'll start it right now. It's picking up really well on what we're seeing at this very moment on the radar. I'll bring you through 10 p.m. tonight, some light showers around Ojai to Oxnard to Santa Monica. So again, that heavy activity, I don't think it's going to hold together too well tonight. We go through the commute tomorrow, some scattered showers possible around LA County. Looks like the majority of the heavy stuff will be just offshore, though. Tuesday, 10 a.m., still going. Some light rainfall around the area. Bring it through Tuesday at 3 p.m. It starts to move out, but then we look forward to the next system, and this is going to be the strongest one of the three this week. Tuesday at 10 p.m., right around, looks like this front at that point heading into the Ventura County area. Now this one we may need to worry about a little bit of flooding. The National Weather Service has not put out a flash flood watch for the burn areas that we saw some trouble with last week, but they might as we go through tomorrow night. We'll have to watch out for that. And then the snow around the mountains, by the end of Wednesday we could see 6 inches of snow. So it looks like, again, about 1 inch to maybe 1.5 for generally the whole area. By the end of Wednesday, 3 to 6 inches for the snow forecast for the mountains for the first couple of systems. Then the next one will be Friday into Saturday, and that one doesn't look that impressive at this point. So that's good. None of these three are any stronger or nearly as strong as the one last Friday. Here's a 7-day forecast. 60s throughout until we hit Sunday and Monday. We're actually going to have a warm spell next week. So we have a few days here of wet, cloudy weather. We'll have a break on Thursday, and then Friday, again, a few showers possible. Valleys, IE, again, about an inch, maybe just over that. And with the colder air aloft, and that's why we're getting a chance of snow in the mountains, that might create some instability enough to get some thunderstorms Wednesday. We'll have to watch out for that potential. Right now, about a half an inch of rain at the beach. And then, again, we have another system here as we go into Friday, Saturday. The mountains, good for you guys. Looks really good. 3 to 6 inches of snow by the end of Wednesday. And then going into Friday, we're looking for a slight chance of that as well. The high desert, cool, cold nights, and even a few showers for you, 1/4 of an inch possible by the end of Wednesday. More weather coming up in a few minutes. Back to you guys.
Oh, that's great news. All right, Jonathan, thank you. Bill Cosby's wife breaks her silence. Next to Eyewitness News, what she is saying tonight about the scandal plaguing her family as another school re-examines its relationship with the comedian.
Plus, a big financial boost for California's early quake warning system. But is it enough to get the project up and running?
The wife of Bill Cosby is speaking out for the first time amid sexual allegations against her husband. Camille Cosby said in a statement that her husband is a loving and caring man and not the person being portrayed in the media. And she says, quote, "There appears to be no vetting of my husband's accusers before stories are published or aired. None of us will ever want to be in the position of attacking a victim, but the question should be asked, who is the victim?" End quote. Meantime, an Atlanta college is disassociating itself from Cosby. Spelman College, the historically black college the Cosby family donated $20 million to in the 1980s, announced they are suspending a professorship program bearing the Cosby's name. More than 20 women have come forward claiming Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted them. He has denied the allegations.
We're updating the evening's top stories next here at 7:30.
Including the latest on our new round of wintry weather. Will it trigger more flooding and mudslides? Plus this story.
Jill, Bill, I can't breathe. I'm going to die.
An Orange County woman recounts the terrifying moment she found herself choking, how an emergency dispatcher helped her daughter save the woman's life.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 7:30, bracing for rain. I'm David Ono.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. Here's what it looks like right now on live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. Right now is the first of 3 storms move in tonight. It's expected to bring snow in the mountains and rain everywhere else. It may also cause high surf and strong rip currents. The incoming storm brings concerns of more mudslides in recent burn areas that are already cleaning up from last week's downpour. In Camarillo Springs, crews are shoveling mud and rocks out of homes. In Glen Pandora, the city has issued a yellow alert imposing parking restrictions and instructing residents to remove obstacles from streets.
Investigators want to talk to two possible witnesses seen in video the morning of last week's massive fire in downtown LA. This man was caught on video trying to climb a fence into the large apartment building that was under construction that caught fire. Another man was seen on surveillance video walking on a sidewalk near the fire just before it broke out. Both are considered witnesses, not suspects or persons of interest in this investigation.
An explosive and deadly end to a 16-hour hostage standoff in Sydney, Australia. 3 people were killed, including the gunman. 4 others were injured. It all ended in a hail of gunfire and flashbangs. The suspect took over a downtown Sydney cafe, holding 17 people hostage. Some of the hostages were able to escape. Police are not saying whether the hostages who died were caught in the crossfire or by shot by the gunman.
And authorities say that they knew almost immediately who they were dealing with, but many people are asking tonight what inspired that man to take hostages, and was it ISIS? ABC's Brian Ross takes a closer look.
Almost immediately today, police recognized the lone gunman inside the cafe. 50-year-old man Manas was actually out on bail, awaiting trial for some 40 alleged sexual assaults and as an accessory with his mistress in the murder of his wife. But Manas, an Iranian refugee, was best known for writing offensive letters to the families of Australian soldiers killed in Afghanistan.
This pen is my gun, and these words are my bullets.
But long before Manas took to violence today, mainstream Muslims in Australia had condemned him as a phony, a fake cleric.
He's really a jihadlam. You know, these types of guys who are basically thugs who want to do it in the name of jihad.
Even so, once Manas ordered the hostages to hold up a black jihadist flag, he went from hoodlum to terrorist.
This was a person with a mental problem who tried to gain attention and succeeded.
A troubling trend as seen earlier this year in the attack on the Parliament in Canada and on a group of police officers on the streets of New York City.
In each case, including in Australia, the attacker was killed in what some call suicide by police. Less about ISIS and more about mental illness. Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.
And get this, outrage in Sydney at the online rideshare service Uber. The company is now offering free rides and refunds of up to $200 Australian to riders who paid inflated fees during this hostage crisis. Fares reportedly jumped as much as 4 times the normal price as people rushed to flee the business district where the gunman was holding the hostages. The soaring prices sparked a backlash against the company on social media, and Uber quickly dropped its prices. The San Francisco-based company said the fares increased because of high demand.
Scary moments today for a Sherman Oaks family. A fire broke out in the garage of a home on Morrison Street. You can see the flames shooting into the air late this morning from Air 7 HD. The home was threatened, but firefighters worked quickly to limit damage to the garage area. No one was hurt. Investigators are working to figure out what caused that fire. A construction worker is in stable condition tonight after falling into a trench in San Gabriel. The 38-year-old man was working on a railroad grade crossing project when he slipped off a ladder and fell 20 feet down to a platform. He suffered an injury to his left leg, possibly a fracture. It took firefighters about 90 minutes to hoist him out safely. The man was taken to the hospital for treatment.
An investigation is underway after 2 senior citizens were struck by a car in a post office parking lot in Mar Vista. Firefighters say 2 people were hit by an SUV whose elderly driver was backing up at the parking lot on Venice and Grandview Boulevards. A 74-year-old woman died at the scene. An 83-year-old man was taken to the hospital with severe injuries. The 91-year-old woman who was driving the SUV was not injured. She was interviewed by officers and then released. Choking and struggling to breathe, but her daughter managed to perform the Heimlich maneuver and save her life. The dramatic rescue was caught on 911 tape, and Eyewitness News Orange County reporter Greg Lee has the tape and an interview with a woman who survived this ordeal.
I thought at the moment, that's it, you know, I'm going to die.
Janet Williams couldn't breathe while drinking hot chocolate with her 2 daughters at her home in Laguna Niguel. A marshmallow got stuck in her throat. Neither daughter knew what to do, so they called at 911.
Tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, with your other hand, grab your fist.
Yeah.
And quickly jerk inward and upward. Do it now.
The dispatcher, David Paschke, talked the daughters through nearly 2 minutes of the Heimlich maneuver.
Is she breathing yet?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, she can breathe a little bit. Wait.
Okay, all right, then stop, okay?
The marshmallow came out, and Williams began to breathe normally. She says there's no way to express her gratitude for the dispatcher who helped save her life.
I am thankful that he was there, and I'm thankful to my daughters that they could help me out, and we can have another Christmas together.
Paschke, OCFA's senior communications supervisor, insists he was just doing his job.
We simply give the instructions and provide the service. The daughter did the work.
Williams says she's doing fine. She hopes her scary moment encourages others to learn a life-saving skill.
Learn the Heimlich maneuver. Teach it to your family. Teach it to your friends.
The Orange County Fire Authority works with the American Red Cross to offer monthly CPR classes. Reporting in Irvine, Greg Lee, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Tonight is the deadline for people wanting a health plan through the Affordable Care Act that will take effect January 1st. Locally, you have until midnight tonight to get signed up through Covered California. You can still sign up after today, but coverage won't begin at the first of the year. Fines for being uninsured go up substantially in 2015. President Obama and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie share a handshake and a laugh prior to the president's visit with troops at a New Jersey military base. The president saluted troops returning from Afghanistan and said the war there is coming to a reasonable and responsible end. While U.S. and NATO troops have closed their operational command in Afghanistan, some will remain to carry out operations against Taliban and al-Qaeda targets.
An early earthquake warning system gets a major boost in the form of federal dollars. Local leaders say it's a major step towards saving lives. The federal funding comes as part of the spending bill approved by Congress. And Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda shows us how this new money will be put to use.
Earthquake, light shaking expected in 60 seconds.
When an earthquake hits, a message like this would be sent out, warning people to get ready for the shock.
We've demonstrated that the system works, that the technology is solid, but we need to complete the system.
Earthquake.
It's an early earthquake warning system that officials want to build in California, Oregon, and Washington. Congressman Adam Schiff fought to get $5 million in the new federal budget to start expanding it.
The only question is, are we going to have this ready in time? And the federal government is saying this is a priority.
With the system, sensors would be installed in the ground to detect when an earthquake begins. They would send an instant notification that travels faster than the earthquake waves. It would give a few precious seconds or even up to a minute warning so action can be taken before any damage occurs. The system is being tested in the Bay Area, and during the recent Napa quake, it gave a 10-second warning to San Francisco.
Slowing and stopping trains, that's a pretty obvious one. In port areas, container onloading and offloading might be another way to make things safer. In construction sites, big tower cranes could presumably be put into a safe position.
Officials say it would take hundreds of reporting stations spread out across western states to monitor all earthquakes.
This gives us a chance to get out ahead of the curve, do something before the big earthquake strikes, save lives, save property.
And this is just enough money to start the early warning system. It will cost $30 million, and officials say the states, including California, would have to contribute to finish it and to keep it running. Reporting from Burbank, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Up next here at 7:30, Rudolph the Stolen Reindeer.
Somebody made off with a historic decoration that's marked the holidays for SoCal for 50 years.
Not one or two, but three storm systems in the forecast, the first of which is moving through toward Oxnard right now. Details on that in your 7-day forecast coming up.
It's enough to get someone on the naughty list. Someone has stolen a wooden statue of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from a sign in Rolling Hills Estates. As Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes shows us, neighbors hope the thief will have a change of heart.
He's a holiday hero credited with saving Christmas, but Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is MIA. Deer-napped over the weekend from his perch atop the entrance sign of the Ranch View community in Rolling Hills Estates.
I feared foul play.
A solid deduction. After all, Rudolph couldn't have wandered off on his own, and it would take more than a stiff wind to blow the 200-pound plywood reindeer clear out of the neighborhood. Folks here now asking the rest of the world to be on the lookout for their red-nosed friend.
He is 5 feet tall, 4 feet long. He has a bright red nose that lights up. He's just beautiful.
Corey Taylor says the huge plywood Rudolph has been a holiday fixture here for 50 years, handcrafted by neighbors, many who've grown up watching him sip from his Christmas goblet every December.
Definitely, that was one of the first things I remember during my first Christmas here was the Rudolph.
Now, the missing Rudolph should be easy to spot. He's missing an antler. This was busted off and left at the scene of the crime.
Other than that, few clues remain. Just a Santa hat, a plastic bracket, and Rudolph's goblet still on the rooftop. Neighbors baffled why someone would make off with poor Rudolph.
Maybe it just seemed like a decoration that we could just easily replace, but it's actually irreplaceable. And it really meant a lot to this neighborhood. Bring it back. You bring it back at night. No one will watch for you.
Unless you don't bring him back. Even though a police report has been filed, it's not the men in blue, but the man in red you'll have to worry about. In Rolling Hills Estates, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Are you ready for another wintry blast of rain, wind, and cold?
More wet weather is edging into Southern California right now. Up next, meteorologist Jonathan Novak looks ahead to a rainy night and your morning commute.
Plus, why is Chris Christie defending himself for being at the Cowboys-Eagles game last night? The answer in sports. Take a look at this funnel cloud captured on camera in Oklahoma. You can actually see a tornado briefly taking shape and touching down. It's one of 2 confirmed tornadoes in the state during a round of severe weather yesterday. The strong storms also included golf ball-sized hail and heavy rain, but there are no reports of any significant damage.
Some of the rain we're expecting here is already falling in Northern California. Drivers on the 101 in Marin County had to deal with some early morning flash flooding. Some neighborhoods have seen 1 to 2 inches of rain today. While it is causing some localized flooding, it is not causing problems like the area saw during last week's storm.
And Jonathan, you're just looking at the radar. You're saying something, Camarillo Springs, watch out over there right now.
Well, there's a pocket of heavy rain, but as I've been saying, it's not holding together very well. And we're going to look here in just a second. If it does, it could bring maybe about 1/10 of an inch per hour, or a little bit more, and that might cause an issue because it is actually heading toward your direction for the Springs burn area. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's take a look, in fact, right now on that live Megadoppler 7000 HD. I mean, this system that's moving in tonight is not nearly as strong as the one last week. The one we have tomorrow night is the strongest of the 3 this week. But none of them this week are going to be like last Friday's. In fact, check out the latest images here. You'll notice the reds go away over the last 20 to 30 minutes. This pocket of heavy shower activity not holding together very well, but it doesn't really need to do too much to really cause an issue. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this particular area as that leading edge of some of the moderate rainfall heads toward Oxnard. Hopefully, we'll just have to cross our fingers for some light to moderate activity as the leading edge of this first system heads into the western portions of LA County tonight. And then it's going to move through overnight, and then we look forward to the stronger system tomorrow night. We're going to take a look at that in a moment. But this is a cold front, and you see we were just talking about the central and northern portions of the state, seeing plenty of rain from this front, plenty of snow in the high Sierra. Yes, we are getting snow from this storm system, which is great for the mountains. A winter weather advisory kicks in at midnight tonight through tomorrow at 6 p.m. And in fact, looks like we'll have more snow tomorrow night, with the snow level dropping down to about 5,000 feet or below Tuesday night into Wednesday. So all on top of it all, we do have a flash flood watch, but it's for the southern areas around the Santa Ana Mountains and foothills and for the Riverside County Mountains. So no, we don't have a flash flood watch for the burn areas yet. The National Weather Service might kick that into effect later on, but right now it's not a concern, although we do have some heavy rain just offshore. So we'll have to keep an eye on how this plays out. The future rainfall, 7 p.m. starting you off, and it is picking up our high-resolution model on what's happening at this very moment pretty well. Moves you through about 10 p.m. and notice light to moderate rainfall over Ventura County into the western and southern portions of LA County at 10 p.m. And then overnight, we'll see a little bit of moderate rainfall toward the coast of Ventura County, down toward the coast of LA County around 7 a.m. in through your commute tomorrow. But notice the heaviest pockets of rain stay offshore with this first system. Now, bring it through the morning time, some scattered activity through the day. It's going to be cloudy. It's going to be cool. And then the next strongest system of this week moves in tomorrow night at 10 p.m., and that's going to roll through, bring potentially an additional ½ an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and about 3 to 6 inches of snow for the mountains. This is 6 a.m. Wednesday. It's going to be a wet commute on Wednesday again. So you get a couple of mornings of this before we finally dry out Wednesday afternoon. So maybe about an inch to an inch and a half, maybe 2 by the foothills by the end of Wednesday, actually. It's going to be a total for Wednesday. Let's see what happens for the next 3 days. I'll just sum it up for you here nicely. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, we've got the chance of rain, light to moderate, going in through Tuesday. And then Wednesday will be the heaviest system, especially in the morning time, and then we'll taper it off. And Thursday actually looks dry, in fact, and then we'll see the next system roll through late Thursday into Friday. Friday would be the next chance. 7-day forecast, LA Metro and Orange County. Yeah, keep the umbrella handy for a few days, and the jacket. It's going to be cool. ½ an inch to an inch of rain for the first system at the most, and then another inch potentially in the foothills for the second system. The valleys, i.e., look for that as well. Rainy, cloudy the next few days. The beaches as well, ½ an inch of rain. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cloudy. And then Thursday, late into Friday, we start seeing a little bit of a shakeup, and especially in the mountains, might see some snow. Three systems in a row here. It'll be really good. In fact, the snow level's dropping to 5,000 feet on Wednesday. That's fantastic. We might even see some flurries around 4,000, 4,500 feet. Pretty good. Temperatures stuck in the lower 30s, by the way, for highs on Wednesday. The high desert, you got about 1/4 of an inch potentially with these two systems put together, and then it looks like you'll stay dry for this last one. We're going to have to keep an eye on this third one, guys, because right now it's not clear how impressive a system it is. I don't think it'll be too much into the way of rain, but the one tomorrow night will be. So we'll keep you posted. Back to you guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
Yep.
The Clippers return to Staples, losing their last two games, and tonight they host the Detroit Pistons, who have just a 5-19 record. Even better, point guard Chris Paul has never dropped a game to Detroit since moving to the Southland, and we will have your full highlights at Eyewitness News at 11 p.m. on ABC7. Lakers taking their 3-game win streak into Indiana. Purple and gold having a hard time in the first half, shooting just 16%, hitting just 7 shots. LA down 60-27 at the half, the worst since 1960. Cosby led all scorers tonight, adding 21 points to his career total. And here he gets around the edge and throws down the one-handed dunk. But it was too little too late, as the Pacers had 6 guys in double figures, led by C.J. Miles, who dumped in 20 off the bench. Indy snaps the Lakers' win streak, winning easily, 110-91 the final. Hockey's now suspended Kings defenseman Slava Voinov was charged with felony domestic violence today at a Torrance courthouse. A judge ruled at a preliminary hearing there is sufficient evidence to move forward with this case. Testimony on the stand by a police officer described a bloody scene at the couple's home in October, allegedly caused by Voinov kicking, choking, and even pushing his wife's face into a flat-screen television. Voinov is scheduled to be arraigned later on this month. Football fallout after New Jersey Governor Chris Christie was spotted at Lincoln Financial Field last night watching his favorite football team in action. Christie was seen in Cowboys owner Jerry Jones' luxury box exchanging high fives, and today the governor defended his Dallas fandom after an internet firestorm of criticism, including a barrage from Philadelphia Councilman Jim Kenney, who had a few choice words for Christie. Kenney took to his smartphone, banging out 140 characters to express his disappointment in the New Jersey governor, saying, quote, well, I'm not going to say it exactly as he put it, but here it goes. Chris Christie is sitting on his very fat beep next to Jerry Jones in his box at the link. You suck. Kissing Texas beep for 2016. Awful. Politics meets football. You can never win. That's pretty harsh. Finally today, UCLA linebacker Eric Kendricks can add some more hardware to the trophy case after taking home the Lot Impact Award. The Lot Award is given to the college defensive player who had the biggest impact on his team. It is the second straight year a Bruin has won it after Anthony Barr took it home last season. This is the second award for Kendricks after he took home the Butkus Award for the top collegiate linebacker last week.
With only 10 days to go before Christmas, shipping giant FedEx says they expect this to be their busiest day of the year. So what's the last day you can order something and get it to your door by the 25th? Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Frere toured a FedEx sorting facility today to find out.
The busiest shipping day of the season.
22.6 million packages we anticipate to flow through our worldwide network just today.
At the FedEx facility in Irvine, workers sort packages before they're loaded into more than 200 trucks.
You're moving a little bit faster. Yeah, I was pretty busy this morning.
Officials say that this holiday season, FedEx is shipping 3 times more packages compared to this time 10 years ago.
Our increases are mainly driven by e-commerce. As more and more people go online to complete their holiday orders, those packages are flowing into our network. The FedEx ground service, you have until Wednesday, December 17th. That's the guaranteed day that if you give it to us, we'll still get it under your Christmas tree.
If no one's home when a package arrives, courier Tammy Wells tries to find a hiding spot for it.
That way people don't steal them, because people do that right about now.
The company also offers a free service called FedEx Delivery Manager, where people can sign up online to give detailed instructions for couriers.
Very specific instructions, such as leave it behind my grill or leave it behind the big planter.
The latest date to ship to make it in time, December 23rd through FedEx Express.
Now, I have to share that Mother Nature always holds the wild card, so we would encourage everybody to ship early.
In Irvine, Eileen Frere, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
More news straight ahead here at 7:30, and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Is local law enforcement taking a page from the NSA? Tonight we're learning more about a device shrouded in secrecy that's being deployed by law enforcement to track criminals. Does it go too far? Plus, we are on the red carpet for the premiere of Angelina Jolie's movie Unbroken. We will hear from the stars and the family of the movie's hero. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. A happy reunion today, all thanks to our Stuff a Bus event in Canoga Park. This was the scene at 5 a.m. as Garth Kemp introduced Cutie. The East Valley shelter was hoping somebody would adopt the 2.5-year-old Chihuahua mix, but little did they know the owner was watching, and he showed up later at the shelter to reclaim his missing dog. They're back together tonight.
All right, and happy ending. Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56. Have a good night.